I'm not even gonna waste your time. Just make this review really quick. The phone is great, buy it. That's it. Review is over. Okay, y'all still here? So I'm guessing y'all wanna know why it's so great. Well, let's find out. Perfect. All right, before I go down my list about why the OnePlus 7T is great and why it's so cool and how it's the best phone right now, let's just pause before that and let's jump into some things that I don't like, because it's not a perfect phone. For one, the lack of wireless charging. It's still, we like on the 7th one now and we still don't have wireless charging. But I got a hunch. OnePlus is killing the game right now with charging speeds. Like, I don't know, there's no other phone that's messing with them right now with charging speeds. So I think that they're working on a wireless charging standard that's gonna just blow away everything that's out right now. And it's not ready yet, and it's coming soon. So that's why they just depriving us right now of wireless charging. So that's one thing. And yes, I'm gonna beat this dead horse. No headphone jack. Like, why don't we have a headphone jack? All these manufacturers, screw y'all. Bring us back the headphone jack. It's still needed. And then we don't even include the dongle. Like, at least you can give me the cable so I could plug in the headphone jack to the USB-C port, but that's not included. So yeah, headphone jack. And another thing that it's missing is the always on display. If you use any Samsung phone, you know what I'm talking about. Like if you pick it up, you can kind of see your notifications, or in case you just get back to your desk or something, you want to see if you missed a notification. You can't without like double tapping on the screen to wake up the display and see your notifications. But if I just want to just have it sitting there and just look at my phone and see if I miss a notification or look at the time, it's not there. So, and it's using the OLED display. So I don't know why the always on display is not there. OnePlus, you hear me? Give us an always on display. We need it. Thank you. So this is not something I don't like per se, but it is something that it's a positive and a negative when you own a OnePlus device. It's pretty much bare bones Android. It's almost 100% stock Android, which is a little bit of tweaks. And with that, it's a lot of great things, but then also you lose out a couple things, and that's like there's no killer feature. We have the 90 Hertz display, which is amazing. But as far as like some software features, there isn't that killer feature. Like, you know what I'm talking about if you use any like Samsung phone. Like, they've kill you with million features. A lot of them are gimmicks, but a lot of them are really useful. But with OnePlus, you just don't have that. It's pretty much stock Android. There is no additional features on top of that that make you like, that will stand out from any other phone. So yeah, there's just isn't that killer feature with the OnePlus device. Another thing, the vibration motor is pretty weak. I mean, weak. Like, I have my phone in my pocket and I'm getting a phone call and you can barely hear anything. And it's like, it's so much noticeable. I literally just got done using the Note 10 Plus and that thing vibrates loud. It's probably too loud when it vibrates because I never have my phone on ring. Outside of the things I didn't like with the phone, I actually had some real issues, and that was the network issues, the 4G issues, Wi-Fi issues, as well as issues with the front-facing camera. The Wi-Fi issues, like, I got pretty good Wi-Fi throughout my house. I never really had an issue with any of my devices, but for some reason with the OnePlus, the Wi-Fi was just failing to connect, or I'm connected, but the speeds are like stupid slow. And then like I can be on a phone call and I just had like a very weak signal. I had pretty great signal in my house. And then the front facing camera, we're gonna like have a whole separate discussion about the camera, but front facing camera was taking terrible pictures. And you kind of notice that, like, I kind of noticed it when I was doing my unboxing, but I know OnePlus cameras weren't always that great, so I kind of like ignored it during the unboxing until I got a chance to dive into some more. But I took a lot more selfies, and like all the pictures was just bad. Like, had this HDR and it was bad, but we're gonna hold off on that. As far as the Wi-Fi and the network issues, and to some point, the front-facing camera issues were like all resolved within like the 2-3 days after getting the phone. We got an update, and it pretty much completely resolved the network issues and the Wi-Fi issues I was having, and made the front-facing camera a little better. The camera quality is much improved. It's still not on the Note 10 level or the iPhone 11 level, but it definitely can hold its own against them when you compare the pictures. The ultra wide lens, the zoom lens, and the wide lens all take comparable pictures. Like if you swap between the three, you really can't tell the difference. Where the camera is still lacking is what I was speaking of before, is that front-facing camera. It was improved from that update, but it's still like that HDR, it's doing weird things when you're taking a selfie. And it's kind of weird because when using the rear cameras, you don't have that issue. So I don't know what they're doing with the front-facing camera, but it like blows out the background, or it might over process your skin and your clothes. And I turn the HDR off, it still like does something weird. I can't explain it. I'm not no camera guy. I just go off of what I can see, and the quality is a big drop off from using a rear camera. So I don't know kind of weird thing they're doing with the software, but it ain't right. OnePlus, get on it. The camera's almost there. Just needs to fix that selfie camera. My favorite part of the 7T is the display. It's just amazing. Like the 90 hertz display, just amazing. I can't speak any more highly of it. It's great. And it's also a step up from the 7 Pro. So I did have issues with the 7 Pro with the brightness level. Like it doesn't get dim enough or bright enough. But with the 7T, that issue is completely resolved. It's perfectly visible in daylight. And if I'm using it in complete darkness, it gets dim enough to where it's not hurting my eyes. The 7T has a HD display, not the QHD display. But at no point did I look at the display and was like wishing I had the QHD display. This is probably the best 1080p display I've ever used. Not only is the display great, the speakers are great as well too. The speakers are even better than what is on the 10 Plus. 10 Plus was just kind of like muffled and flat sounding. Speakers on here are like really loud, got a little bit of a bass, and just watching YouTube or a movie on the 7T, it's a good experience. And while doing all that content consumption, you can know that the battery life is amazing. I get 6.5 hours of screen on time, and that's with heavy usage throughout the day. I mean, a lot of YouTube watching, playing a little bit of games here and there, navigation, and I'll go through the day without ever having to charge. And if I do need to charge, it charges just as fast as it's advertised. Really gets from 0 to 70 in that 30 minutes with the Warp Charge 30T charger. These names, yes, these names. But yeah, charging is fast, and the battery lasts all day. And that's running at a 90 hertz display, 1080p, watching videos, brightness cranked all the way up, and I have no issues with the battery at all. With the Snapdragon 855 Plus processor, 8 gigs of RAM, and 128 gigs of storage, performance is hands down probably the best performing device I've used to date. And that's even topping the 7 Pro. Like, it's just a little bit more snappier. The 7T is probably top 2 in performing Android devices. And Android 10 has been a really great experience with Oxygen OS 10. The new gestures were really cool to use. It took a little minute to get used to the new gestures because it's just 100% swiping. Using Oxygen OS is like a negative and a positive. Like, you don't get all those features and gimmicks that Samsung throws at you. You get a really almost stock Android experience with no gimmicks, no nothing. It's just almost bare bone Android, and that allows them to provide an amazing experience with a 90 hertz display. It's just really smooth experience, and also gives you that ability to upgrade to the latest version of Android much faster than any other phone, any other manufacturer. And like, it was the first phone with Android 10. It's going to be one of the first phones with Android 11, Android 12, Android 13, whatever Android. it will have it. OnePlus does not play around with updates. It gets it out to you immediately. Even though the 7T is just a minor update from the 7, it allows OnePlus to stay competitive going into the holiday season. Every year OnePlus makes strides of putting together a well-made device with the highest specs and still keep the prices so low. Coming in at $599, it sometimes amazes me to see that this phone is $599, and then you have phones like the iPhone and Samsung phones is topping over $1,000, and it's really, like, outside of the camera, there's nothing else really that stands above what OnePlus is offering, and at almost twice the amount of the OnePlus. I don't know what's going on with these phones these days and these prices, but I'm glad OnePlus is doing what they're doing. It is hands down the best phone that really most common people don't know about. Like, a lot of the tech people know about the OnePlus devices, but I was speaking to some regular people the other day, and they were just like, oh, what is that? And I was like, the OnePlus 7T. Like, huh? OnePlus, what? That's the name of the phone, OnePlus? So, I mean, there are a lot more marketing OnePlus can do to get this phone in more common people's hands. And like, having the phone in T-Mobile stores is a great step. And then if they can get it in all the carriers' stores, then that will kind of like help boost them and boost the awareness of such an amazing phone at such a low price. Using the 7T overall has been a great experience, and I can't wait for the OnePlus 7T Pro 5G to be released sometime this year. I'm definitely grabbing that ASAP, and I will have an unboxing and a review for you with that. All right, that's all I have for you today. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. This was another Joe Tech Talk, and I'm out.